to honour all those who have come on time. So I'm going to start with a karakia. So yeah, just use that to help you arrive. And it's my favourite karakia at the moment, and we'll use that. Tuia I runga, tuia I raro, tuia I roto, tuia I waho, tuia te herenga tangata, ka tau mai te pō, ka tau mai te ao, haumi e, hui e, tāiki e. Yeah, so welcome everybody to this session, and love to see in the chat just a couple of words of how you arrive and in what feels the most true for you. And we'll talk about that as well. Just a few words like, oh, I arrive a bit frazzled, or I arrive excited, or whatever it is. Love to see that in the chat. And yeah, just helps presence all of our collaborative field today. And yeah, I'm going to pass to Karinia to say a few things.
Tēnā koutou katoa. He mihi nui kia koutou. Kua taima I tēnei rā. No mai, haere mai, ki tēnei hui. Ko Karinia li tōku ingoa, nō reira. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming today to this Kia Whiti Tonu workshop, Collaboration, a Journey of Mastery. My name is Karinia Lee, and I'm the Head of Centre for Social Impact. The Kia Whiti Tonu workshop series are 90-minute workshops offered to the community sector by the Centre for Social Impact through the support of Foundation North. The Kia Whiti Tonu series of free online workshops was launched in November 2020, responding to the need for capability and capacity building in community organisations identified by the COVID-19 Impact Survey. The introductory program covered grant writing, marketing and communications, innovation, strategy and wellbeing. Previous workshops and PowerPoint presentations can be accessed through the CSI website. This year, we have 9 free sessions in total for the Kia Whiti Tonu series. And to date, we have offered sessions on wellbeing, digital technology, communications, governance and strategy, and innovation. These sessions are also online on the CSI website. We continue to aim to make all sessions as accessible as possible, and today's session will be recorded, as you would have noted. However, the breakout sessions won't be recorded. At the end of the session today, we will be asking for your feedback via a survey link in the chat. And this is important as it will help inform any future program delivery. The feedback from our last series helped inform this year's offering. And we want to ensure that we continue to meet the needs of the sector. Now, before I introduce the lovely Louise Mara, who is presenting today's session, I'd like to ask you all to take part in the poll. This is a very short poll that will ask you if you have received funding from Foundation North in the last 2 years. As mentioned previously, Foundation North is supporting this series, and they are interested to see how many of their grantees are accessing these workshops. Very interesting today. Okay, so as I mentioned, today's workshop is Collaboration, a Journey of Mastery, presented by CSI Associate Louise Mara. Louise provides specialist advice on the development of leadership, systems work and social innovation. Louise's capabilities include strategy development, social innovation, and innovative thinking, general leadership development, executive coaching and mentoring, and creating effective cultures. Louise has many years' experience working both in and on leadership at senior levels in the not-for-profit, government, and private sectors. Louise led a 10-year experiment by government to collaborate better. She was also previously the Executive Director for the Auckland Policy Office, a cross-government initiative, and also worked as an advisor to former Prime Minister Sir John Key. Louise is currently Director of the Leadership New Zealand program and runs her own business, Unity House. Kia ora, Louise. I'm handing it over to you.
Thanks, Karinia. Yeah, tēnā koutou katoa, ko waio ngā toirawa pūtiki te whenua, ngā tūhoi te rangatiratanga ko Louise Mara tuku ingoa nō reira. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. So welcome everyone to this topic that is dear to my heart. I come from Waimana. I whakapapa to Tūhoi and Ngāti Pākehā, and in my Pākehā line are many different rivers, Scottish, Irish, French, Italian. So I think of myself as a many-rivered being and a braided river. And so much of my work has been bringing these rivers together inside myself so that I can help bring them together outside of myself. So this whole topic of collaboration is so dear to my heart because I believe if we don't change the way we meet as humans, we won't change much. It's kind of not a time of heroism or heroism. It's a real time of building collectives that can embody a new future. So I take quite a edgy view of collaboration, and we're going to go on a little journey about that, and that's why I kind of called it radical collaboration, and that it's a journey of mastery, because it really is. And it is kind of natural to us, and we've kind of in some ways made the way we meet together often not that natural. So there's quite a journey in us to work with as well as we seek to collaborate outside of us. So just want you to have a look in the chat, like how everyone, I asked people to put in how they arrived. And we just welcome all of that in here, like we just welcome all of that into our room. And just take a moment to look, kind of with compassion. Like everyone has such a life they live that they bring into the room. So we just welcome all of that. Don't have to be here any different than how you are. And all of that is in this room. And of course, that's so vital for collaboration, is how are people arriving? How are people arriving? So notice again yourself. Maybe just close your eyes. We'll just do a little wee grounding. Just feel yourself arriving in this room to another layer. We can include your needs and your expectations and what you would love and just how you are. We saw some people have no sleep, some people excited and curious, some people a bit nervous, whole spectrum. Just feel your feet on the ground where you are. And just sort of feel the space around you. Most of you are in your own space. You're safe where you are. That matters. And then I just want you to feel into how relational do you feel today? How relational do you feel? And don't make yourself anything other than you are. Don't force that. Just like, oh, I feel quite internal and not that relational today. I feel a bit closed in. There's so times for that. And then just feel, oh, actually I feel quite open and relational today. I want connection. Just notice what that is for you right now. Because that also matters in any collaboration. How available are people to each other? And how do we work with when we're not that available, without forcing something? Yeah, so let's open all our eyes and just pick one or two people that you may or may not know, just to kind of connect to. Oh yeah, there's this person. Anyone you feel curious about, just one or two. Yeah, and just notice how you feel right now. Okay, so we're going to dive into some content. We're going to do a little creative exercise. Easy, so you won't have to activate your I'm not creative voice. And we'll just go into a bit later on a peer exercise, which would be great to stay for if you can. We notice when we go into small groups that people often leave, but it would be great to just help you digest the material if we could stay. So let's sort of dive into this huge topic of collaboration and mastery journey. And I think we have to sort of admit as humans, it's quite a humble admission that actually we're not that great at it. And why is that? Like the marriage statistics show it's very hard to collaborate with one other person. It's often very hard to collaborate with our children. And then we get into workplaces and we've got so much expectation to collaborate. And it's also hard to collaborate with all the parts of myself. So the more at war I am with all the different parts of me, the less able I am going to be in a collaboration, because I'm already at war with difference. There's so many parts to you. So, you know, the Dalai Lama talks about stop the war in yourself, which will stop the war else. So, you know, there's parts of us that we're still fighting with, learning to be with. So that's why it's such a mastery thing. It's like leadership to me. Like, it's hard enough to lead ourselves, let alone lead others. That's also a mastery thing. And I think one of the things, you know, I've been involved in big collaborations for so many years. And one of the things that I see is that people expect the kaupapa, the work, to be enough for the collaboration. And I just don't think that's true. I just don't think that's enough. Hey, the kaupapa cannot hold the collaboration on its own. Of course, it's a vital ingredient. As we go into this area, because I want to take you on a bit of a journey quickly into your nervous system, and that might sound strange, why would I do that? But it's all going to come clear, because there's a part in all of us that is built to collaborate, and there's a place in all of us that isn't. And we don't have enough processes in groups. I spend a lot of time in organizations as healing the past in a way. We don't have enough processes that actually help people get into that place that can collaborate. So I'd love to sort of take you through the nervous system. But to do this exploration, I say we need a maunga of kindness, you know, a moana of aroha and an awa of courage. Like, that collaboration requires a lot of us if we really want to collaborate. And yeah, I think we will go. So with invoking those in you and in our group today, I want to take you on that little journey of the nervous system, and then we'll come back to why that matters. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that? Can you see that, Amy? Yeah.
Yep.
So I, work all around the world in collaborations, leadership, complex problems, because most complex problems are an issue of collaboration. Climate change is a collaborative problem. It's not really technical. So these big complex problems in the end are about how do we form the connective tissue between people that can enable amazing things to happen. How do we actually build the containers for change? There's a lot of demand for change, but not necessarily the time and the care for the containers that enable the work to be successful. Why I love working with the nervous system is I work across all cultures, and we all have one. We all have one, and it works the same. So it's such a beautiful thing just to get to know this within yourself. And I think we really need to teach this in schools, but just come with me. So in the bottom, we have the green zone, if you like. And technically this is called ventral vagal, but you don't have to worry about this. And this is the social engagement part of us. I call it the essential self. This is our essential self as human beings. And I love that this is the essential self is built actually to collaborate. It's amazing. This is the place we naturally will collaborate from. And what I love about the nervous system work is it also is really different from past kind of psychological models. It's very embodied, and it also mimics a lot how it also comes together with Indigenous thinking in Te Ao Māori in a much more beautiful marriage. So this place, this green zone, is very specific to you and who you are. It's very specific. We are all a bit weird. And we're meant to be a bit weird. Like, we're meant to. And we're meant to let others be a bit weird. We're meant to express life in all its wholeness. So we're meant to be colourful. We're meant to be something that's different than others. And in this place, you let yourself be there and you let others. So it's specific, but it's also the place of interbeing, where we all actually are part of a whole. We're all connected to Papatūānuku, to Ranganui, to our ancestors. It's not a place of separation. It's a place of connection. This place is amazing because in this place, I'm not trying to be Karinia. I'm not trying to be her. I'm actually happy to be me. And then I'm highly curious about her. So I'm grounded in myself and my resources, my own ancestors, my connection to earth, and then I can be so available to her because I'm just curious, because there's no competition. Now, this is the amazing place of you all, and it's the place of you all where nothing's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you in this place. And then, of course, we go into the yellow zone, which is our kind of fight or flight, or the sympathetic nervous system. And that's where we go into a contraction. I've gone from my expansive available state to I'm contracted. And I'm also now in competition. Now there's all ranges within this zone, from little bit to majorly activated, but I'm activated in this zone. And in this zone, people become a threat. So all of a sudden now I'm a bit under threat. Now I might not know this, because actually I might live more in this zone and think it's normal, but it isn't. It's not my natural state. So in this place, sorry, Karinia, I'm using you as my example, but in this state, I'm now subtly competing with Karinia. I'm less available. I might be a bit jealous. I might not own these things. I might not even know them, but I'm a bit more separate. I'm a little bit more, I'm a little bit more competing. Or I'm feeling like shit because I'm not as good as her, so I want to retreat. So many collaborations take place in this zone. It will never work well. It is not an open-hearted place. It's a wounded place. One of my expertises is trauma, collective intergenerational trauma. That's what I've spent so much of my life understanding. And this is a place where the past trauma is arriving, and I call it someone today. So the mind thinks about 90,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of them are often the same as yesterday. I know I said that statistic in the strategy workshop, but it's highly relevant here. So here, I go into a threat, but often the threat isn't even the person in the room. That person activates my past thinking. So many collaborations are here. I go into so many organizations. I work with so many collaborations, and this is where they're trying to collaborate from. I really want to say it just won't work. And yet there's not many processes, and of course in Te Ao Māori there are beautiful processes, but within organizations that are actually helping people get back into here, which is where we will create connective tissue from. And then there's the freeze, and the freeze is highly intelligent. All of these things are intelligent. The freeze is where I turn off, I kind of numb, I could go into collapse, and the freeze is amazing in our bodies, but it's the place where something gets too much and I turn off. And again, I turned off often when I was young, and my definition of trauma is anything you were too alone to feel. So anything you were too alone to feel freezes in your system. We also have a collective nervous system that freezes things that were too hard to feel, like colonization, like slavery. I work a lot in the US. So all of these things have been almost collectively frozen. They're all de-icing. And this place is where I'm just habitual. Little freezes, I'm just habitual. I'm just going through the motions, but I'm actually not really connected to you or to the room or to the kaupapa or to the collaboration. You see this a lot. I can't see right now how many people are from government, but I spent quite a lot of my life in the public sector. There's quite a lot of functional freeze which means people aren't necessarily connected to their bodies, to their emotions. It's very mentalizing. And mentalizing isn't where the connective tissue is going to be created. So then you've got a lot of people in the room, slightly frozen, trying to make a good decision. And I talk about boardrooms like that. We've got 12 people in a board trying to make a good decision, and no one's in their essential self. No one's grounded, calm, totally, here, curious. There's so much collaborations happening in a mix of those two zones. That's why the nervous system's so amazing. So just have a little digest over that. Because already we've said big things, hey? And already you might feel a bit activated yourself. Wow, where am I operating from? Where am I? And we don't have to wrong when you're in those other zones. So I work a lot, created a lot of material around deep performing teams. I believe there's a lot of people meeting and no one meets because we're in these zones. And in deep performing teams, it takes care of helping people come into the place they can collaborate. Coming into that place they actually can collaborate. One of the things that's important, why I got you to put yourself in the chat of how you arrived, is you can't wrong if people are in the other zones, but them being able to presence it, like, wow, I am in a real fight flight right now, actually helps them connect to it, which puts them in the green zone. I am a bit frozen right now. As soon as I can connect to that, and that can be accepted by a group, it actually helps me come back. I talk about we're here to walk each other home into our wholeness. We're always walking into our wholeness. We can so help each other if we don't go to war. Now the green zone, because I get this comment, is not nice. Women will often translate the green zone into I have to be nice. It's not. It's true and clear. So as I was saying with Karinia, I'm not competing with Karinia, but also if Karinia starts to compete with me, I can say, actually, that's you, not me. I can hold a clear boundary in that place. I call it a delicious yes and a clear no. It's not nice, but it is kind, because I'm not trying to be something, but it also, I can support myself in that place. It's gritty. It's amazing to actually be able to grow your ability to be in that place. So that's so much part of the work. People often say, what is the real work? And I go, the real work is you grow that place, what you connect to, and not in mentalizing, but I have practices that connect me to the earth. I have practices that connect me to Ranganui. I have practices that connect me to my ancestors. I have practices that connect me to myself. And that's why I love the tuia, tuia, tuia. Every morning I re-sow myself as soon as I get up back into a connected self. Every night I remind myself who I really am. Every time I go into a workshop, like even here, I re-sow my connected self. So I bring that energy. Not, right, you've got to collaborate better. You've got to get on with it. The world's collapsing. Like that would be just me in my own fight and flight, putting it onto you and making you do something. It's horrible. So how do we like be the system changing? Be the one in the room bringing this essential self into the room. It takes one person to bring it into the room, and it's in the room. One person to bring it into the collaboration. Will it be you? So this is the place of, this is the place of connection. And Tina just put in creativity. Yes, it's the place of creativity. Creativity is such a cool thing that helps us access this place. That is so true. Thank you. Yeah. So how do we in our processes lay the groundwork? Lay the understanding, because pretty much when I saw the run sheet of who is here and who will get the recording, because a lot of people sign up for the recording, a lot of you are already sitting in trauma fields. You are. Your work is often sitting in a trauma field. Government sits in a trauma. These are collective fields of trauma that a kaupapa sits on. So again, how do you take care of people and the connective tissue to work with this in a different way? Yeah, and Susan, yes, I'm glad you raised that. A lot of people in government are just trying to survive. That's so true. The fight and flight is survival energy. It is survival energy. So there is a lot of survival energy running this race to solutions. I have to tell you that even the race to solutions is a trauma highway. The busy highway is a trauma highway. It's in the fight or flight. So these are the things that are running our collaborations, and we've got to radically change the way people meet, or we won't change these solutions, because the more we create a coherent field of people, and I've kind of been working on my own very edgy work with people in this, then the more the future kind of lands. That's why it links to strategy. I'm not chasing a future. I'm feeling the future in my body. So in that strategy thing, we talked about the navigators who felt the island, and they had to have a relationship with the island, and then they could feel their way to it. So these are really big things, and I want to address one other thing, and then we'll go into a little exercise. Is in beautiful Pacific cultures and Māori culture, they have this amazing, true way of framing this around the wā or te wā, the space between. So the space between us gets cared for. The space between us becomes part of what we are in relationship with. And this is vital. And I work a lot with Dr. Carlo Miller, and I love the way she describes it. But it's something like, here we are, say, I'll use CSI. I'm making these things up. So, you know, here we are in Centre for Social Impact. We've brought a group of us together to help solve a complex problem, hey. But coming into the room is like 6 of us, say. 2 of us have had past conflict and we don't really like each other, hey. Another person doesn't really like the kaupapa. And then we start to talk about this with 2 of the other people. We form this big entanglement. We're already entangled, and then we form more entanglement, and then we don't bother to clear these entanglements, and then we decide we're going to talk about climate change. It's not going to work because it's sitting on all the entanglements. And clearing this space becomes so important for actually anything new to land. Or trauma is running the show, the entanglements. So then all of this slight fight or flight, this freeze, these are trauma responses, survival responses, start to run our solutions, and they run our collaboration. I call them, they're the ghosts in the room. They're running the collaboration. And then we wonder why everyone fragments, no one's really there, because we're not taking the time to do those clearings. I wouldn't belong to any collaboration myself anymore that did not commit to two things. Three. One is your own personal work on your projections. Hey, what I hate in you is something I can't see in me. That's projection work. Wouldn't work with a commitment to clearing entanglements as they happen one-on-one. And I have a clearance process, which I'm happy to share. And the third thing is that it took care of the connective tissue. To me, these are three hygiene factors. Totally necessary. Kaupapa is not enough for a successful collaboration, and yet we put so much onto it. It's the relational space. Even despite the kaupapa, what is our relational space like? What's getting in the way? All animals and systems clean themselves, and humans have stopped doing that together. So these clearing mechanisms. So yeah, I think that's enough for now. That's a lot, eh? Should we do a little exercise with it? And then we will, let's do it. Has everyone got a pen and paper? I just want you in your pen and paper just to draw, however it comes for you, a collaboration you're in. Now, if you're not in a formal collaboration, just a team you're in, because that's a collaboration. And if you're in no team, just your whānau. You know what I mean? That's a massive collaboration with a lot of trauma in everyone's whānau. I always say don't necessarily start clearings there. Like, it's a lot. Yeah, so just draw in any way you want your collaboration. Like, just put some of the people in. And you don't have to share. You're only going to have to you only share what you want in this process. Yeah, so just take a moment to draw that. Make sure you've drawn yourself. If you haven't, put yourself in. And it's not a masterpiece, it's just like a quick little sketch. Yeah, so just another minute on that. And draw what resources the collaboration, because that green space is always connected and supported. Trauma isolates, takes us out of it. What resources that collaboration? Do you connect to each other? Do you connect to the earth? I love working in the environment, and so many environmental organisations don't work with the earth. Do you work, what resources? Of course there's funding, but that's just one resource. Do you time? Do you play music together? Do you, I don't know, what resource is that collaboration that helps everyone come into that space? If there's nothing, just be honest. And just have a look at your drawing and just, how does it make you feel? So I'm just going to ask you some questions of your drawing now. So you might just note down some thoughts for yourself. How does it make you feel? Do you love being in that collaboration? Like, do you love it? Or is it like, whoa? And what do you notice? Is there anything in your drawing that surprised you? Maybe, may not. And in this collaboration, like, where do you think it's mostly operating from? Is it in that resourced, green, flowy, creative? Flow states are the most productive states. Productivity through rushing is just not true. Or is it in that urgent, fight, flight, survival space? Or is it slightly frozen and everyone's just being quite a bit wooden, turned off, not really engaged? Where's your collaboration mostly from, operating from? These are quite big questions. And try and, like, truth is our way home, eh? Vulnerable truth. Where are you operating from in this collaboration? What's happening in you? The essential, connected, creative, or the under threat, trying to prove. This is all the trying to prove territory. I don't think I'm good enough, so I spend my life trying to prove. That's not true, by the way. You are good enough. But we can get into that proving, needing to be liked, needing to be. Do you feel safe and seen in this collaboration? And do you think others do? And is there time built in and processes for people to feel seen and heard? A lot of people don't feel seen and heard because they're not. Like, it's just true. Hey. But also, how do we see and hear people that isn't about hearing them trauma bomb us with their own unintegrated things? I mean, this is a huge topic we could spend 3 weeks just talking about every day. Because that's not okay. People are using share my truth to kind of trauma bomb each other, and that's not okay. I'm in fight or flight, so you're going to get it. There's a lot of boundary work needed in this deep performing teams. Attack is never okay. Is the collaboration helping everyone release their weirdness, like their superpowers? too often collaborations become about the role people are in and not the superpower they hold. And collaborations have to do both. Yes, you have a role, but actually to be part of this collaboration, what's your superpower that you bring that we need? And we want it, bring it on. So if collaborations get too tight and rule bound and structured, you miss all the generative energy that needs to be released. So collaboration should never just be about role. In my deep performing teams, I set up archetypes and we have restorative processes. Remember I said you sit on trauma fields. We help restore that through the team as we go. Everyone's got a superpower in the collective. Even introverts, they have a huge role. Is your collaboration helping release people's superpower, acknowledging it? Yeah, I've got more questions, but I think that's probably enough. If you could make a change to your drawing, what might you change? And I want you to put as part of that, what's your need? Draw that in. A circle with your, what I need is more, whatever it is, more space, more time. I need to understand people better. I need to walk in their moccasins. I love that thing. Before you judge someone, walk in their moccasins for 3 months. And just like, what is revealed to you through this exercise for you? And just any question you want to ask yourself that I haven't asked. Yeah, so I can see some questions in the chat, which I want to honour, but I'll do that when we come back. But I'd really love for you to have the opportunity in pairs. You might end up with 1-3, but just to, you can show your drawing if you want or not, or just to talk about what's being revealed to you or anything around what we've been talking about. So you'll have 5 minutes each, a minute just to introduce yourselves and a minute at the end, so there'll be 12 minutes. But really just take the opportunity to see what's been revealed and just to also reflect, like, what has really worked for you in the past around collaboration, so that you can connect back to what's worked. We could all talk forever about what hasn't. I just want you to connect in this exercise with what's been revealed and what's worked for you in the past, really worked. Yeah, I agree, Ruth. That's such a potent thing. So we'll address that when you come back. Beautiful. So I will see you back here. And for those in the big rooms, Amy, you might want to just put them all into one room because they might want to talk to each other. Don't know. Annika. Welcome back, everyone. yeah, was that good to talk about that? Okay, great. Yeah, good. Good. I know there's some questions in the chat, which I'd love to address some of them, and feel free to put others in. But does anyone want to come on and share anything? Any insight? Any aha? Any oh no? Any WTH? No, WTF? Jules, you're on. I can't hear you, Jules. But you don't look.
I should bring my microphone down. Yeah. I was just going to say we had a theme in our group. I was sharing how I feel like I'm kind of on the outside and I'm collaborating with this big group, and how interesting it was for me to kind of go, oh, okay, so I have both this excited energy of kind of being invited into that, but there was also the kind of maybe out of balance, this fear of needing to prove myself, or just that feeling of being on the outside since I'm not part of the group as such at the moment. And it was just a really nice reminder to kind of, how do I do my self-practice to be able to turn up so that I can bring my superpower, my weirdness, as you call it, like just to be able to do that. And so we were talking a little bit about how important it is for us to turn up and how we turn up.
Yeah, beautiful. And like withdrawing, hey, when I feel not part of something I am part of, is a process we do in our being. It's a process. And it's really good to remember trauma isolates. So whenever I've gone away, I've gone into my own, past trauma, not because it's bad, but because it's ready to be worked with differently. So I love what you say, I can come forward. And you could even say what you need. I feel a bit isolated from this group. What I need to come forward is this. How we work with vulnerability in groups is so important, and needs and realness. I just laugh when people talk to me about my work in the real world, like the real world is never being real. No one's being real. Anyway, I love that. Thank you. And Claire, how beautiful to see you.
It's always lovely to see you too. And we had a really interesting conversation, and something that I think we all felt was just when you start to actually step back and see collaboration through this lens that you've been discussing with us this morning, it really helps to build understanding both of ourselves and where we are, but also of others that we might be collaborating with. So one of the people in our group talked about, a tricky collaboration that's happening at the moment, and how it's helped her to kind of go, maybe they're in that yellow or red zone. And so brings a different perspective to how might work together going forward. And then we also talked about how taking that time to actually, delve into what are people's superpowers within the collaboration, and how can they be harnessed and really utilised, I guess, is a really empowering space for a collaborative collective to work from, and often leads to better results.
Yeah, beautiful, Claire. And we have such an innate need to belong, eh? And when I'm in that yellow zone, it's true, you can't really reach me, and I can't reach me, and I can't see you. So we're caught in a little, I can't see you, you can't see me, and I don't belong. It's very painful. So it's like, how do we help people belong? And that's not a one-off thing. That's, okay, how are people feeling today? What would help you connect more today? What do you need in order to come out of that space that feels so isolated and threatened? But, it's a process of building all of this. But yeah, Thanks, Claire. Any other? Oh, Rosie. So these are all people I know coming up.
Hello. Drawing the map was fascinating. I became aware that I'm working with a philanthropic group and the charities that they fund. And when we're all together, though the intention is utterly collaborative, by the power dynamics of some sort of mild competition for funding with the presence of funding creates a power dynamic that places that group sort of unintentionally, I think, in the yellow, whatever we intend to do and however much we agree that the kaupapa is shared. And it is a trauma field. I hadn't really related to that either. Childhood poverty, system change for childhood poverty. That's a gnarly field. Yeah, so I noticed that I, as the facilitator, feel responsible for dealing with all of this. But what came to me drawing the picture was that I actually need to change that word to responsive. Just dealing with what's there in the moment so much more. Don't know if you have any great wisdom for that.
I mean, the thing that I think, you know, working in these areas too is what, it's such a big answer to this question, Rosie, but I believe we've all got to be the system changing, not try and change the system. So if you sit on a trauma field like that, what's trying to come up through your collaboration is part of the system trying to heal itself. Now, this is another huge kaupapa, but so vital. So I would be so interested in your processes around working with all that is, because you are working with child poverty and what you're describing is scarcity. You know, people are going into survival because of scarcity of resources, and therefore you might get some and I might not, and you're working with child. So there's a way of working with the collaboration that actually can work on some of these core wounds if they're willing, or we keep parking it for someone else to do and we pretend it's not in the room, but it runs the collaboration. This is the work I'm really wanting to do. And I'm also, when I go to work in organizations, I now meet with them first, the whole team, to say everyone's got to choose to do this work because it involves all of your nervous systems to restore as you go. So I can hear the trauma field already showing up in the system of scarcity. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't see many working in this way. There's a few who are saying we're willing. Everyone's still trying to solve the system out there as that's a core wound separation, as if we are the system. So there'd be a real way of working with that, but you kind of need to see if people are up for it. And then magic can happen. So all of you and all of your fields, I'd be so interested in how the field you sit in, or the trauma field, is showing up through your team. And whether you're pretending that doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Or whether you're working with it. And I know, you know, we're figuring out how to do all of this, but I don't know if that helps. But processes, clearing together, clearings one-on-one, what's happening through you, lots of presencing brings lots of presence. Presence brings creativity. Creativity brings new freshness. I have got some principles and things in the slide deck I'll send out. I just haven't gone through it today. But I don't know if that's helpful because it's such a big.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Rosie. Yeah, anyone else, or I'll have a look at the chat. Yeah, so how do we address entanglements as a result of organisations we represent, Eileen? I think the short answer is creating a space that we're going to talk about the organizational entanglements and presence the impact of everyone. It's a bit of a misnomer. People say, come into the collaboration and take your hat off. Won't ever happen. Because I come in with some allegiance that needs to be honored. So how do we honor that allegiance? And it's an and, you're part of this collaboration. I love working with constellations, but it'd be really good to run a process of how the organizations have past entanglements, and these are getting in the way. How do we, a lot of what I do in organizations or collaborations is I run healing processes to heal all the past before we even start to collaborate. I mean, this requires, some thoughtfulness. But even just saying, could we have a session on looking at the past entanglements between our organizations and presencing how that affects us today? Truth, eh? So I would do, yeah. Can we escape this competition under growth centre? I'm hoping if we all meet differently, this will change from the bottom up. So could be my greatest delusion, but that's something that has to change. Te wā, W-A-A. Clearing mechanisms. I do have a process for that, but to go into this different way of working, it almost needs an invitation and an acceptance that we'll work in a different way. I'm doing a lot of decolonizing work, and it really helps. Māori and Pacific have beautiful superpowers and ways of being. So it's also can be quite a decolonizing process because they understand the wā, te wā, to start to meet in a different way. So it can be quite a beautiful decolonization process as well. Talk to Rosie. Ruth, if you're so bound up in your role, you've lost track. I bet everyone feels a little bit of that. I just think part of what we're recovering in this time are our superpowers, are our weirdness. I say to all my clients, you're not an arrow, you're a circle. You don't want to die on the straight and narrow. You don't want to die straight or narrow. Do you want to think like you're a circle? So we're all recovering this place together. So I love that you could say that, and just be such a good inquiry for you. Like, oh, what is that? What else is here for me? I still recover bits of mine as I walk. I'm like, wow. I think we have just unlimited and specific. Yeah, collaboration is relational. I know this is a bit of a admission, but one of the places I don't like working on are boards, because management teams will often make the time for the connective tissue, and boards hardly ever will. So they're all there trying to prove something. Like I find boards are always trying to prove value. So they do too much pushing, and they don't form the connective tissue between them. So yeah, those of you working in boards, I take my hat off to you, because it's hard work. Attack, hey. We need to be able to say these things in collaborations we're going to stop the room on. I go into pretty gnarly situations and I go, I'm going to stop everything if these show up, like real put downs, attack, you know, diminishing what people say. No, we're just going to stop if that happens. And I have to hold that I do that. And you can do that in your collaborations. Actually, we've got into, because, you know, that fight or flight gets into rage, attack. When it gets really heightened, we're stopping. We're all just, and I've even had to get everyone out of a room because the person attacking wouldn't stop. So I'm like, okay, everyone out. You can just stay and attack, but I'm not. You know, we kind of need quite, that's what I mean, the green is quite gritty, because the green is about safety. And one person attacking will put the rest of the group in a freeze. I don't know if you've noticed that. One person gets attacky, the rest of the group goes into a little freeze. Or some might go into fight, fuck you. So you end up with a fight. So, you know, we've got to have some pretty good boundaries. After I stop them, generally I'll try and have a little cordial with them, ground them, see what's happening. You know, there are people who they're not fit for a collaboration. They're not there, they're not ready. I'll say more about, I just want to go into a few of the PowerPoint slides because it might answer some things that you'll get sent. But these, oh, hang on, you can't see, can you? Because it might answer, but share screen. I haven't gone through the PowerPoint because it's annoying, but principles and processes, Purpose, of course, the purpose is clear. I see purpose as what is this, what are we in service of what the system is asking for and needed? I don't see it as just the mission. And that can include, the system really needs a different way of meeting. It needs restoration. So I see service and purpose in a different way. Connection, we take the time to set up the container and the connective tissue between us. In Leadership New Zealand, we all do My Lives, which means you talk about what shaped you so we understand you. They're very emotional, by the way, but it's beautiful. Everyone has a place that aligns with their superpowers, not just with their role. These are really good principles and processes. Honouring multiplicity, we honour the collaboration and the organisation people come from. Remember, you can't take hats off. I've gone through these. Aroha atu, aroha mai. What we are asking and giving to each other has some balance over time. We're not just asking more. That's a trauma. When was ever more better? You know? We honour what came first. I think in this country, from the treaty to the original impulse for the collaboration, it birthed something. How was that birthed? If we've inherited a collaboration, how do we honour that, but also move it healthily forward? Restoration, I'm very into restoring as we go. We model the system changing. Your collaborations could actually heal some of the collective trauma as it works, or it pretends it doesn't sit on a trauma field and it's the ghost in the room leading the way forward. Clearings, we clear the space between us and we don't build elephants. Elephants are built one conversation not had at a time. That's the commitment for these unentangled places of dynamic generativity. And I am really seeing organisations be more up for this. So any team I work with, you have to agree to do that. Resourcing, we resource for the journey. Who are our guides for the collaboration? How do we work with Mother Earth? How do we work with our ancestors? Like, how do we work with what will bring us as a team back into that essential ventral vagal place? What practices, when we get heightened, will we use? Like, this is so cool to create. Lots of examples of that. Emerging and experimenting. We understand there are multiple pathways and we're prototyping together. So many collaborations are trying to solve a problem and not learn a problem, not learn a solution, not walk an evolutionary pathway of learning and growth. And that's why they come unstuck too. There's some old way, new ways here. I won't go through them, but how do we create the teams? How do we envisage the future? What's an old way, new way? What cultures do we need to grow? What are the shifts? Now, this is important, these shifts, because people just shove, in my big collaboration I ran, people shove people in because of their role. They're actually not ready to share power, work with ambiguity, share success. You know, like, I just think we have to demand more from our collaborations in terms, it's a mastery art. It's a where are you? Capacities, yeah, anyway. And these resources. There's some processes for starting or resetting in there. And there's some resources. So that's what you'll get. Yeah. We're coming to the end of our time. Just notice how you feel. If you've gone into a little, this is too much, just reground, feel your feet. Yeah. Just honor yourself. So much is needed on the inside, the moana of kindness, the moana of aroha, the awa of courage. So maybe today or tomorrow, because it's in the chat, start a meeting by saying, wow, could we all just take a few breaths and arrive? And I'd just love to hear how everyone arrives, what's present for you. And what do you need from this meeting? Yeah, so thank you. It's a big kaupapa, I know, and I'm so dedicated to the way people meet. Yeah, give things a go with great generosity for yourselves and each other. And yeah, we're going to put the survey into the there it is in the chat, and it's just got a few questions. It really helps us keep these going if they're valuable and, you know, funded for you all. So it would be great if you could take the time to give some feedback, and yeah, we'll send out the slide deck. I might put the clearings process in there for you, so there was some interest in that. And yeah, any other thing from you, Amy or Karania, before I do a final karakia?
Thank you, Louise. Kia ora. Wonderful session. I have nothing else to add. And yeah, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and the work that you have been doing in this space. Ngā mihi.
Thanks, Karania. And yeah, very dedicated. So yeah, much aroha to you all, and I'll finish with a karakia. But actually, what I'd love you to do is just any comments as well as how you leave the session. Like, we arrived together, presence how we arrived. Just notice what's in you as you leave. Manawa mai te mauri nuku, manawa mai te mauri rangi, ko te mauri kai au, he Māori tipua, ko pakaru mai te pō, tau mai te Māori, haumi e, hui e, tai. Karakia help, by the way, get into the essential ventral vagal. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming. See you again. Ka kite anō.